Welcome to this week's Podcast Connection. I'm Peter Christensen, UAR's legal counsel, and today we'll be talking about some recent forms changes. You've probably already heard about the FERPTA additions to some of the forms that we covered in a previous podcast, but there are other changes to some of the forms that you've hopefully begun to notice. There are changes to the buyer due diligence checklist, seller property condition disclosure, exclusive right to sell listing agreement and agency disclosure, and the exclusive and non-exclusive buyer-broker agreements. So what has changed? First, let's talk about the buyer due diligence checklist. It is no longer a property-specific form. The line where you put in an address is no longer there. There is now a new Section 20 energy efficiency. This section simply advises buyers that the more energy efficient a home is, the less they may have to pay on utilities, and advises the buyer that if energy efficiency is important, then the buyer can focus some due diligence on energy efficiency. Next, seller's property condition disclosure. In Section 8, heating and cooling, there is a new question that asks if the evaporative cooling system has been winterized. If yes, explain. Because of the change in seasons, most buyers, when buying a home in late fall or winter, would like to know if the old swamp cooler has been shut off and drained for the winter. Similar to this change, we find in Section 13, Exterior and Exterior Features, a new question asking if the outdoor sprinkler system has been winterized. If yes, then please explain. And now there is a new Section 24, Energy Efficiency. This section asks the seller if, while the seller has owned the property, an independent energy efficiency assessment has been conducted. And if one has been conducted and the seller has a copy, then it asks the seller to attach the copy. A second question in this section asks if, while the seller has owned the property, have any energy efficiency improvements been made to the property, and then to describe the general nature of the improvements. We will handle the changes to the listing and buyer-broker agreements together. Both have language added to Section 6, Professional Advice, saying that if you recommend any third-party services, it is not a guarantee or warranty of the services, and that the buyer or seller is advised to make their own decision as to what third parties to use. This is language to protect agents and brokers when they are asked by a client for a recommendation. If you want more information about these changes and any other forms updates, I will be teaching a class at the upcoming UAR convention in San Diego. As always, you can contact the legal hotline for additional questions. I look forward to seeing you in my class in San Diego. This is Peter Christensen signing off for this week's Podcast Connection.